Apparently not. At least nobody said so in the chat. Okay, it started for me. Guan just dropped Sha and Crest just dropped one pin. Nothing else happened. Okay. So, this is the first game of the second week. And we have our teams already playing.
Oh, let me put the hands to show.
Right, so Cress has a rather scary looking hand. A quick one if he wants to. The same can be said about everyone else though, but Guano's hand also looks relatively good. He can go for Chitoitsu if he wants, but he can also try Toy Toy. As for any other hand shape, I guess it's possible, but not that likely at this point.
Chris has got some pretty good shapes though. Go for
Yeah.
easy Tanyao 2 Dora, or Tanyao 1 Dora.
Yeah, looks quite possible. I wonder if he wants to drop this pay as soon as possible now. Right, and we need to probably present the teams that are playing. The teams playing today are the winning team. Guano represents them. Also, we have... one moment. I am experiencing technical difficulties. The other teams that are playing are Ebola Boys with Theo, Team 6. With Mr. Potato presenting them, and Cress. Cress is Doragon Slayers. Right, and while I was looking that up, I totally missed what happened, but the winning team is winning, so it's not really that much of a surprise here. So yeah, I'm sorry. And we are in the second hand of this game, and Cress has a really strong looking hand. I wonder what he decides to do here. Will it be Honitsu and Chinitsu, or will he keep those two Isos? Yeah, most likely. Oh, it was Ipatsu? Absolutely based. I think he should finally change his mind about Chitoitsu being a bad hand with this, but who knows. Indeed. And meanwhile, Kress, the absolute madman, is going for it. It might end up looking very, very, very strong. I don't think Toy Toy is that much probable, but who knows, it may happen too. Or actually, no, we maybe only if a 7-man comes, but then again, this 8-man will not get into any Toy Toy shape here. Theo has decided to proceed with Tanyao, I guess, his Ishanten. And Potato also has a hand that is almost complete with 2 Akadoras.
Test.
Hello.
Can you
Did it
hear me?
work? Yep.
Alright, nice. Sorry for being late.
And we're joined by Garden, I guess.
Yep.
Alright, so...
Are you guys currently on 2P and then 7S for sync?
No, we're much later. Do we want to
Shit.
resync after
Yeah,
this
a quick
hand?
resync would be nice, yeah.
Or right now, yes. Ready?
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Okay. And it's Kress's turn to drop his tune for me.
Yeah, and then 8M and now 7M.
Okay. What will Kress do here? And he goes with 4-man, and he's Tenpai on Honitsu.
Mr. Potato actually declared Ricci when we were resyncing.
Yep.
He seems to have a Riichi Pinfu and Akatsu, which is a Mangan, assuming he managed to get it.
Yeah, and he has a Nobit.
His biggest contestants are currently Kress and potentially Theo.
Yep, Guan is pretty much out for this hand. And Theo is Tenpai as well. Absolute madman, Kress with the Rinchan.
Just sumo it, bro. Just sumo it.
That's a nice Mangan for him, and he's back in action. Up from his 4th place to 2nd, and it's his dealer turn now. And he gets a relatively good hand for that. 3 Doras, and...
And the sumo didn't really hurt him at all, considering that it was originally Guano's dealer. So he did manage to get the extra payment exactly off of the first place.
Yep, indeed. And Kress decided to drop the pair of pace, so he probably wants to call this hand as much as possible and not go the simple pinfo route. I think this is a good decision here. Yeah, a very strong and potentially very fast hand to have on dealer.
But seeing the amount of Ukiera, it should be rather easy to hold the elements in as well.
Yeah. Theo has an uncle of 9-pin that pretty much doesn't let him proceed with any certain Yaku at this point, and he's holding to the Ton as well. I guess at this rate there's not a big chance that he'll have time to make something proper.
If he manages to get some Toitsu, then he can aim for Toitoi. But at the moment, the only Toitsu that he has is 5p,
Yeah.
which is unlikely an option.
Meanwhile, Cress has already started calling.
And Potato is currently... Oh, I was about to say he was currently at 4 Toitsu, so Tito was an option, but he's aiming for the quickest option, for the quickest choice rather. Since he does have one Dora in there, it should be worth it.
Yeah, pretty much, and he's Ishan 10 now. Even if he doesn't get the Toitoi route, he can just settle on Tiny Dora. And what about Guano? His hand is progressing slowly but steadily. And
A
he
bit
has...
too slowly compared to everyone else, no?
Yes, I guess so, but he's Ishan 10 now. And Potato is Tenpai.
And apparently is sticking to Tamio for now.
Yeah.
The only issue will be, for 5S, there's currently only 2 taken. Otherwise, 1 on the board and 1 on Guano's hand. But in case that Potato manages to draw the Toitsu of 5S, he'll be forced to drop down the 6S, and then Cress will be able to get a 3 Dora 3. So it's potentially dangerous.
Yeah. And Guano draws a dangerous tile. Will he drop it, I wonder?
Likely not. I mean, he's not in a good position to do so. Yeah. So he just opts for 1M instead.
And Potato was nervous dropping this 7 pin, but it passes.
But he has to push other way, especially considering
Yeah, and the game rewards him.
how he got the Dora 3 in his can. Blessed. A hand of pure skill.
Absolutely. Well, we're already having cans deciding mangans, and this is just the 3rd hand. And on to East 3. Theo is the dealer.
Currently, 2 players already have Jikaze Toitsu. So there's contestants both sides for fast hands.
And
Potato already got his ankle. And likely Guano will soon, as soon as Crest throws his, yeah.
And Theo doesn't like it, going by that emote, because his hand... You can't call it downright slow, but it's not that fast to
It's
be...
shit.
Yeah.
Simple as.
It's not a good hand to have when you're in the last place as dealer and 2 people have called
hey,
Yakuhai.
He's slowly guarding the Toitsu. That's something.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Potato is Ishan-10 already. And what about Cress? Cress's hand also doesn't look that fast, but he keeps progressing it. He has 2 Dora.
And he has a potential for Sanshoku on 1 to 3.
Oh yeah. Yes, he does.
And there he goes.
Will he drop that 4 pin as early as possible? No, he decides against it.
Now, the idea is probably to drop 8p and the 6p that he just dropped, so he can have the 5, 6, 7 or 5, 6, 4 as his remaining Yame.
Right. And Potato has an option to drop one of the pairs, and he does that. Guano currently doesn't have any pair, and he probably hopes to turn this
He just did.
penchant.
Partly.
Yes, and now he does. What will he do with this penchant? Yes, he discards the kanchan instead and keeps the penchant Dora. And Theo keeps getting more and more pairs in his already open hand.
Shouldn't have nyagged.
Yes, indeed. Oh, and Cress. Oh no. And Potato wins this hand with just non-Dora. And it's his
And
turn
now
to
he's
dealer.
dealer, so he has more chances to go even higher.
Yeah, his hand doesn't look too bad either. Guano, meanwhile, keeps getting relatively slow hands, but he has a Dora and lone honors that may turn into Yakuhais, but who knows. Cress has 3 Dora in his hand, with the potential to go Tanyao. And maybe even Sanshoku, but I don't think this is a good idea. He has seen that he'll have to drop one of the Doras for that.
By the looks of it, Potato is going for Jinchan, seeing as how he started dealing middle tiles. So the idea will probably be to discard 4, 5 and 6. 4, 5 of Manzu and 6 of Pinzu, that is.
I wonder if that's really such a good idea in this situation, considering that it will take way too long. Right now he's Ishan
But
10.
he will be able to be called, whereas normally he would have to keep his Menzin.
Yeah, that's true too. I think
As
if
dealer, he's trying to be as dealer, he's trying to be as fast as possible so he can gain as many points.
Yeah, I guess so. I think that if he draws 3 mon, he would probably just reach this Pinfu. Or I don't think it's worth it to keep Dama in this case, but who knows. And he goes this way. He goes Richie, but not with Pinfu, just with pretty much Richie Nomi, unless he gets 8-pin. But he won't get 8-pin, because all 4 of them are firmly in Guano's and Cress's hands. 5s, rather.
No, it's
there are
just
still 2 5s.
a war against time as to whether Potato or Theo would draw a 3p or a 5p.
And Cress probably won't give up that easily. He has a big hand here, totally worth
And
the
he
push.
is in a really dangerous position as last place, so he does want to gain some points.
Yeah. And Theo reaches. Waiting on 3-6, and he gets it immediately. And he gets 1 Ura too.
Calculated Ricci.
Indeed. And Theo is in first place now. The scores keep getting all around the table this game. It's very fun to watch, because so far it doesn't look like someone's getting bullied or someone's luck cheating all the game. It looks like a rather even game. Hopefully South will bring us something fun now.
True. Especially how it started with Guano being in the advantage yet getting really bad hands there for their own.
Yeah. Oh, and he gets a very lucky 7 Pinto complete this Penchan, and he's already Ishan 10. Everyone's hands look relatively good. Theo is already Ishan 10. And Potato. Potato is already Tenpai. He was...
If Potato had waited for a few more turns, he might have turned that into Junchan.
Yes, I think maybe it was a bit too hasty, but
Hasty indeed, but by being fast, he can scare the others. Or better yet, actually win the hand, like he just did.
And the absolute state of the winning team, Guano drops to 3rd place.
Whoa, you're just gonna trash talk your own team now?
He can take it. I know he can. And Cress is the dealer now. He has another potential Jun-chan, I guess. It is possible. I think if he goes, that he might go that route, considering he's in last place. But then again, he's the dealer, so it depends on how other players act. Potato has a sneaky uncle.
Already just drew from his first draw the uncle of Chin. Guano already has Koitsu of South, which he just called. And depending on whether or not Potato will fantasize about the idea of Shousangen or not, he might or might not drop the hacker, which would make it possible for Theo to Nyag as well.
True. Probably Potato can also consider the possibility of Honitsu, but then again it would involve dropping this pair of 5 souls, one of which is Aka, so it's not really that great of an idea.
Ooh, and he drew the second Haku, which creates a stalemate between Theo and Potato.
Yeah, I wonder what will he do if he drops something like this. No, he drops it. He probably plans to keep these 5s as his pair.
In this scenario, though, he is capable of dropping the 5-so, as you mentioned before, even if one is Dora, considering that Hoitsu is 2 Han, so it's worth the trade of 1 Han of Aka.
True, and we can actually see that happen right now.
Do it. Do it. No!
And he doesn't. Meanwhile, Guano is in Tenpai, a rather weak Tenpai, but a Tenpai nonetheless. Cress didn't
and
go.
And it's coming back to bite him in the ass with Potato drawing even more Manzu.
Yeah. Cress didn't go the Jun-chan route, and he's slowly completing his Pinfu hand.
And Theo decided to fold his Haku, which gave even more food into Han into Potato.
And he's in Tenpai now, thanks to this Haku.
And now the discards that he made, although originally negative, are actually coming into his favor, as they are an amalgamation of only Manzu, whereas his Yanmin is also Manzu.
And he gets it.
Who needs mind games? Just somewhere. Right. I'm a kidding.
And Potato is getting a lead here. Can Theo...
his biggest contestant at the moment.
Yeah. Theo has a good chance at dethroning him here. But his hand... Well, it's not that bad, if you can call the tune.
Regardless of hand he completes, as he is the dealer at the moment, it should be fairly possible to turn the tides.
That's true. And Guano has 4 pairs, one of which is none. I wonder what will he do here.
Probably Toitoi. He wouldn't really consider the option of Chitoi here, let alone at all knowing him.
I guess a 5-pin draw could change his mind in that regard, but yeah, it's not highly likely considering only 1 5 is left.
Oh,
and he didn't.
Weird. I guess it is South 3, so he might be aiming for a big hand to actually turn it around.
Yeah, pretty much. And he gets his 5 pair. And he decides to drop the Aka. It's not a bad choice here, considering that now his Tenpai will definitely be on a very good weight for Chitoitsu.
Good weight, assuming it doesn't get depleted before he has a chance to enact it.
Yeah, that's true, but yeah, I think he has a good chance here. West is fully depleted at this point, but Guano doesn't know that. The same can be said about... Oh, look at him.
Now he knows.
Well,
But I'm not
yeah.
sure why... fair. Even if it is Furitan, at the same time, there's only been one discard in the ponds, and that's from him alone. So there is a possibility of drawing a third 9S.
One was also dropped by Potato, but yeah, that was a weird drop.
Right.
Oh, and look at that. Look at that. Will he drop it? Potato.
Quite likely not.
Hmm.
But he does have a good hand at the moment, Potato I mean. So he
Yeah.
might be forced to do so. So yeah, he just
He
folded
avoids it.
instead.
There's still the fourth, Haku. Maybe Guano can draw it himself. Who knows?
Fourth? One. Yeah, right, alright.
Grass is worried about this 7 pin, visibly, but he drops it. And Cress can actually go into Tenpai now, waiting on 6-3 man.
More difficult choices for Potato.
True. He's out of Genbutsu, I guess. And he
And
doesn't.
he dropped it.
Shortcut to Haneman not taken, unfortunately. But it's still
Thankfully
something.
he gets to keep his first place still. And
Yep.
Guano did manage to enforce his third and slowly build towards second.
Yeah, and Potato can end this game now relatively quickly because he has a hand that fully supports that.
True.
And Theo has a potential Itsu here, and Grass.
Crash has a really strong hand if he can handle it properly.
Yeah, and he starts doing it. Yeah, this hand is dangerous.
He already has an uncle, so it doesn't have to necessarily be Hoitsu.
Oh
But of
my
course,
god, look
it
at that.
seems the flow guards prefer that.
This is truly scary. He
It
is
could
doing
even
it.
be Toitoi Hoitsu.
He can actually just, like, he can fully upset the entire game here.
Yeah,
especially
indeed.
if he's Tsumus. And if he Tsumus, or runs off Potato, I guess, we'll be seeing West. Because it won't be enough to get him to 30,000. And Guano. He seems a bit undecided, I guess, at this point. He doesn't drop one pin yet because he's probably thinking of Itsu, but at the same
Yeah.
time, the chances don't look that high at this point.
Do they? I mean, there's only been one 9p on the field at the moment. It doesn't seem that unlikely.
I rather mean his chances of actually having enough time to
Oh,
go
to
that
actually win
route.
the hand. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if there was a possibility to just try and open their hand and then snipe Potato out of 30,000. But I guess that's a bit too
Far-fetched,
Recent.
yeah.
And risking too. And Grass. Oh my god, the absolute madman.
Yes, he doesn't. So, in case what Kazahana said
he
was
has,
not...
He has Itsu. Theo has Itsu.
Does he?
Yep, he's
Theo.
waiting on 17.
It's... Oh, yeah, you're right.
And Guano has reached it. Oh gods.
And he keeps going.
And what does Theo do here? He folds.
And Potato manages to ultimate.
And
No
it's
blow for
all
you.
over.
What's that? Comeback hand? No, thank you.
Congratulations to Potato for winning this, and I guess now we wait for the second game to finish, unless it's already ended, and we have a 10-minute break, right?
Around 5 minutes, yeah.
Alright, I'll just be right back then.
Who's the organizer? Not organizer, sorry, the... whoever actually starts the games for this day. It was... I remember Nanashi doing it for the last few days, but he doesn't seem to be online today.
I think it's Waifu doing it this time.
Ooh. We'll likely have to wait until 5 minutes pass post the other table finishing then.
That was a very good win for Team 6 though. They really need the points.
Yep, we really do. I think generally this week will be a attempt of comeback for multiple teams down low, with both Bomb Pirates trying their best to get back up, Team 6 trying their best to get back up, all of the low teams trying their best to have a comeback.
In trying times like this, it's really comforting to know that your team has already won in this situation.
Totally. I can see it.
What
Also, in regards.
What place did Theo come in that game?
Theo was second, I believe.
Okay, so he's still gaining points.
I wish I could see the log, but everything is Chinese, and ironically. Like, it just shows the exact same Chinese ideograms everywhere. There we go. So yes, Theo is second with 26k 600. And since I mentioned the comebacks intended for the currently low scoring teams, it will be quite fun to look forward into Thursday, in which there will be high tier teams with low tier teams, like 2 of each, on both tables, I believe. So you'll be able to see both the desperation of the low player teams and the attempt, and desperation in a way as well, to upkeep their own position for the high teams.
Indeed, Mahjong is desperation wherever you are currently standing.
Yep.
And apparently the other table has a Shadow Realmed player, if we believe the final scoring.
Yep. So I just checked up with the schedule doc. The Shadow Realm team is apparently Team 10, Keikakudora. And it's one of the 2 master players. But then again, Kikakudora also has some really strong adepts as well. So that doesn't really mean much. I saw firsthand Kikakudora Team 10. I saw firsthand the extent of flow that Chihiro had.
That means the Fate Stay team is back in first place then, probably.
Yes, apparently.
It's unfortunate.
Fate Stay No 10 got first place with 51k, a whooping 51k, followed by Nixos, who is I believe Pond Pirates. Yes, Pond Pirates in second place with 38k. Then followed by the Mafia in third place with 11k, and then lastly Keikakodora with negatives. So for the low ranking teams, it's an issue for both low ranking teams and high ranking teams, as the advantage of No 10 has been further solidified, whereas Pond Pirates, which used to be on the really low side and thus, helping other teams assure themselves that at least they're not last, now no longer applies because they've been slowly in a roll. So everybody needs to be cautious now.
踊ろうもう少し体を近づけプラチナその花を感じてみたいから悩ましい歪みに手のひら合わせれば溢れる熱情が俺を貫
Apparently first table was soon starting.
Okay, and now we have to
Just
wait.
started, in fact.
Yeah.
So all the members remain the exact same. It's Mr. Potato, Guano, Theo, and Cress.
So now we wait 5 more minutes and then hopefully we won't have to resync, but we'll see.
We likely will have to. On most occasions, it kinda doesn't work as intended.
Yeah.
But hey, at least it'll be in the start, we won't miss much. Everyone, I guess. I personally just switch around. down to the last 15 seconds.
And we're in.
Kazuhana, is your stream the YouTube one? Huh. Apparently someone mentioned something about YouTube stream having mixed audio. As long as it's not us, it's fine.
Okay, so on, I'm seeing that Guana just dropped pay and Potato hasn't dropped, and now he drops 8-pin.
Yeah, I'm like a clash of a second behind you.
Well, is it correct for you as well? Theo is thinking. Yeah, I guess it's perfect.
Yeah. It's a really minuscule difference, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. And
Crest got a double tone right off the bat. I'm not entirely sure why Theo opted for dropping the AK-5S. Like, I understand the sentiment of wanting to rush Toy Toy, and I assume it was Sakigiri, but it's a bit too hasty.
yeah, I agree. But yeah, it's most likely was Sekigiri reasoning. Then it's hard pronouncing several R's in a row as a fucking vodka nigger.
I get you.
How do people do it? It's so hard.
I just speak the language and you'll get used to it.
Just speak it, bro.
Just speak Moon, bro, it's not hard.
Okay, so now what we see here is Potato might be... No, I don't think he will be
Nah,
rushing.
Potato's still rather slow. Theo had potentially Tenpai, but he blew it twice.
He insists on a Toy Toy. And now he's finally in Tenpai. Not a bad one too. And Potato, I wonder whether he'll drop.
Yeah, Potato will likely fall victim to that one. Perhaps not instantly, considering it's Shanpai, but eventually.
Yeah, now he sees that Hatsu passes too. Another Haku is still in the wall too. And what about 9 pins? Both? No, just one is still in the wall.
If he decides... Actually, yeah, he should be fine for a few turns, since 5M is 100% safe for Theo. And he does want to actually drop 5M as he just did, since he can get Hoitsu that way. Or, better yet, Shinitsu.
Yeah, but for Chinitsu he would have to deal in. And now that 4 mana is Adora, thanks to a Khan called by Theo.
So that's even better potential for Guano. Oof. Now what will Crest do? He will fold. South Potato. South. Or
And
better yet, for he just fold entirely.
That's a good decision, and I guess he did right there. And Guano completely fold into here, it seems. And Cress has the other Haku.
But yeah, overall, really good decision from Potato.
And I guess this goes into...
Ryukyoku.
Yep. Only Theo is in Tenpai, and he's now the dealer. Oh wow. Time for a con, I guess.
Holy shit! Crass absolutely smashing that flow.
Yeah. And he decides to bide his time.
Yeah, it's usually the best option to do so. The only question now is whether or not he will try to keep the 9S Dora or drop it in favor of tile efficiency.
Yeah, it will be hard to do so, I guess.
If he does drop it, then Potato will have a chance of Dora 3, but he will be restricted into Toy Toy. Uh, 1p, I assume? No, West.
Oh, Crest decides to anger the gods of Mahjong and he drops one of the chars.
Imagine being given free flow and saying no, fuck you.
Yes, absolutely haram.
But yeah, originally you drop 1p before, right? Like on the turn that he dropped West.
Yeah, I guess so. And in the end he still drops this 9-so and Potato quickly accepts it.
No, it's only a matter of actually getting to Tenpai with Toy Toy.
He's got to be going for Toy Toy at this point, right?
Yeah, he's restricted to Toy Toy and Toy Toy alone.
Well, I guess... no, I guess not. I thought about the meme Doko, but no, it's also impossible at this point.
Guano has a pair of the 9-mon.
Yeah, and... Oh, and Potato has another Toitsu.
So he's now Ishanten, waiting to drop the 9M.
And what about Guano? He has 4 pairs and nothing else much to go for this hand, unfortunately.
Yeah, he has a mixture of middle tiles and Jinchanpai, so he can't really guide himself towards a specific direction.
So if Guano cuts this 9-pin, you think Potato's gonna con?
He just might, I think.
Guano says. Likely would. He does want an early advantage after all.
And
now Crisis after the Chitoitsu. We might see a Chitoitsu versus Chitoitsu versus Toitoi fight with this round.
And 2 of his winning tiles are still in the wall. And who knows whether Guano... I don't think Guano will drop his 2-pin. It's highly unlikely here.
Just got commentary from Potato on the IRC saying he just knew the 9p and Haku were cursed.
And Potato? No, he doesn't.
Come on, Theo.
Theo is in pickle, and he drops.
And he just drops for Crest instead. Please feed into my team. Come on.
And yet again, the shortcut to Hanuman was not taken. That's a sad day for all Chitoitsu lovers, I guess.
Damn, that's a lot of fun pie for Potato.
Oh god, yes. Indeed.
And even more, yet she drops 9S right off the bat. Weird. And even more vampire, holy shit. You could have likely... it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nah. So he's likely aiming points at this point, considering he drops Jun Vampire anyway.
The absolute madman.
Yep, so he's going for points too with Prince.
On a related note, this is what? The 7th day of our league, and we still have no Yakumans. We were really close. Was it the first or the second day when someone almost completed a Chinroto, a very rare Yakuman, but nothing else ever since.
I mean, Yakuman are supposed to be rare, it's not that weird.
Yeah, but...
It's far weirder to how often we had Yakuman before that.
That's true too. Still, I do believe that during the entire league, I hope to see at least 2 maybe. I think it would be relatively adequate to expect that much.
I think the main reason behind seeing those Yakumanas first was that most of them were seen in qualifiers. So with qualifiers, you have a certain amount of safety, so to say. You're not that desperate to win. You just get enough points and then you're fine, so you can mess around. So the same way as we have a certain hat dealing into Daisangen for absolutely no reason, as to what are the odds, being his only
there was in
thought behind it. Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
just
Here
hits
you
it.
don't
That's
really
right.
have qualifiers, so everyone's a lot more focused.
And Guano deals into Theo's Toy Toy. Meanwhile... And the winning team is, as expected, in last at this point, but Guano gets a rather good start in hand, so he might just turn this around.
It's easy Chinitsu right there.
And Potato has 2 Dora.
Alright, how exactly is that in between, like it's basically the same amount of Wikida as a ramen, but it takes 3 tiles, where it's like 5, 7, 9? How exactly is that called in terminology?
5, 7, 9?
Yeah, so
I
like
think,
when you have 3 tiles,
I think it's
to-
Ryankan.
huh?
Ryankan. It's a double kanchan.
Yankan. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Yeah, because I'm not really that familiar with all terminologies.
Actually, me neither. I constantly forget all the extremely complex one, more complex than, say, stuff like Sanmenchan or Nobetan. And I don't think that's really that important to memorize them like that, but of course it's
No,
useful.
it's not that hard to memorize. It's only a matter that you'll need to read through strategy books to actually do so.
Yeah.
And I don't like reading books.
But then again, the correct way to play Mahjong is playing by Filnia, so like who needs
Exactly.
that?
As long as you get me.
And Guano didn't accept the... Yeah, this is the time where I have to say the bulging form, like 5, 6, 6, 7, because I don't remember what it's called. But yeah, he rejected it. He could...
Harabote?
Harabote. Isn't Harabote is specifically when you're waiting for a tanki while in this wait?
Yeah, so it should be like 7, 6, 6, 5.
Yeah, well, what I mean was rather the act of turning your run, like 5, 6, 7, into 2 runmen for the sake of efficiency. It's usually a very good thing to do. But yeah, in this case, Guano declined it. I thought that it might be a good idea to drop those 9s to go the Tanya route, but in the end he got his Tenpai, and it's Richie to Dora.
And a really bad way. It's a countdown on 3S, one of which is already in the pond, and 2 of which are in Potato's hand, and unlikely to be dropped.
And the final one is already called by Cress too. So yeah.
Ah, right, yeah.
It's highly unlikely that Potato would drop this.
Likely Potato's gonna start folding at this point.
But Cress and Tenpai 2 for Tom Nomi.
9p in this format is most certainly safe for Cress, but he can't really assess whether Guano would need it or not, especially because of the double 6p.
And Cress wins this Tonomi.
Pretty low scoring game so far.
More Fanpai for Potato. It's actually shared all around this time, so everybody has their share of Fanpai, but everyone has loads of them nonetheless.
Guano has a pair of Doras and a relatively good looking hand, but he might end up having to drop the Aka. But then again, he can probably
The
get
thing
tricked.
with Guano is that while everyone else has the ability to integrate, actually, not Cress. It would depend on whether or not he gets to draw the second tune, but most certainly for Theo and Potato, they have the ability to integrate Jinchanpai into their hands, whereas Guano has to force himself to go with Tanyo if he actually intends to call.
Yeah,
So
that's
he
true.
will, by extension, have to drop any and all Jinchanpai which are necessary for his hand, which will be then picked up by Potato, creating more advantage for them. For the moment, Potato is slowly progressing into Hoitu. He might turn it, actually no, it won't be worth it. Yeah, so after all he turns into Hoitu. There was a possibility of just pawning everything for the sake of speed and just having Yakai Dora 1, but it wasn't worth it, of course, and he understood that.
Yeah, and now his hand can go up to Mangan.
Now, depending on whether or not he's able to get the last 3S, he might be able to get the maximum out of his hand.
And he's getting closer now.
Weirdly enough, he started with Jin instead of South, despite South... actually... Yeah, they're both in one, so the same thing. And considering there's been one South dropped, it might be considered to be dropped by others.
And Guano is slightly in a tough spot. He might just turn this into a Chitoitsu.
And Theo dropped his pair of 3M in favor of using a Hoyt as well, but he, by extension, dropped his Tenpai into Isanten.
Yeah, and Guano decided against Chitoitsu, and he's getting closer to Tenpai now anyway. He won't be able to call now, but... And Theo is Tenpai.
Theo is back to Tenpai. But with a weirdly, actually extremely bad weight, since there's already two assets on the pond and one in his hand, so it's a hell weight, and all 5p, not S's, sorry, all 2p's are extinguished. Sorry, it's a hell weight for 2p and all 5p's are extinguished.
Yeah.
A really good weight from Potato at the moment. It's a hell weight for 9s and 2 for 2? No, sorry, a hell weight on both sides for South and 9s, which although as a hell weight, it's a really good hell weight.
Yes, that's true. And Cress, yes, he folds.
He wasn't really in a position to push, so
Yes.
that was the best idea.
And Guano is finally in Tenpai. And he reaches. It's not a bad idea.
Oof.
Will Potato push this? This is a hard
He
decision.
likely would. Ah, he's gonna do it. Yep,
I
yeah.
really can't blame him. Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I would too.
リーチ一発ドラ3ドラ羽マン
And to the absolute surprise of absolutely everyone, the winning team is actually winning a hand. And
Hand, not the
we're
game.
now-
Yeah.
Yes, yet. We've prepared quite a lot of surprises for everyone. This league is going to go on for a long time yet. But yeah, Guano has 2 Akas and a hand that can pretty much be not really that fast, but he's very close to Tenpai already.
Theo has a combat hand, assuming it's closed, because if it's Manzen, he can keep the double Dora. Otherwise, he would necessarily need the Alkai to make it work, or otherwise avoids it. Both of which seem highly unlikely.
And Guanos can call Richie at this point. Will he? He will.
Madman.
I don't think that's really that bad of an idea. He kind of puts pressure on Theo, who is in 3rd place.
Yeah, but his aim right now is as South 2. He doesn't need to put pressure, he needs to actually get first. Unless
That's true
he's
too.
satisfied with 2nd place, but 2nd place is just Uma plus 0, so it won't really make that much of a change in the team score.
And
Cress apparently folded right off the bat with double tune drop.
2 of the Guanos weights are still in the wall, so the chance is still here. Theo, meanwhile, draws the 3rd Sha. However,
But
if...
when...
Yeah,
go
go
ahead.
on.
Ah, sorry. While Cress did fold the chin, he still has a chance to move on with his hand, as he still has Styrian Men and Penchang, and
Yeah,
he already
pretty much.
has to move with 9M as his head. And there he goes, another Yamen completed. Now it's a matter of whether or not he will drop the 1M. Oh, he goes for
this
8M instead.
way. Yeah. And Theo just dropped this 3 pin. I wonder. The presence of this 3 pin was somewhat an insurance for him in case he drew one of 2 pins that Guano is waiting on. If he drew that 2 pin, he would probably just keep it with this 3. But now,
Yeah, he will be able to integrate it.
now this Anko of Doras might just bite him in the ass if he draws this 2 pin.
Now will Crest reach his upper pension?
And he does.
And he does!
Not a bad idea, no, actually.
Against an early reach, it's questionable. I mean,
It is
the
questionable
flight of the early reach is whether or not you can get across it and whether or not you can win regardless of it. But if you actually reach it against an early reach, you can just increase your chances of just dealing in.
And while we were talking, there's a 3rd Richie. the most adequate one here, probably considering he's in last place. But yeah. Oh, and he's scared, but he's scared for naught. And Theo now...
Yeah, thankfully he has integrated a good amount of dangerous tiles into his template, so it's not that bad.
And Theo drew a 2-pin and he felt the danger and decided to drop his Doras. Still though, there's 1 2-pin left in the wall. If Potato or Crest draw it... Or wait, actually Potato is also waiting on 2-pin, so if he draws it, he's safe.
Or if someone else drops it, it could be a double run, but alas, it's just a Ryukabu.
Yep, and Theo loses his dealer turn, and now it's Guano. Oh, look at this hand. It's a really good high pie for Guano. And Theo has an Anko of South. Pretty good too.
Yeah, Guano has the ability to both keep it at men's end or easily nyag it away. And there is enough value to it thanks to the Dora.
And the second one.
And even more Dora indeed.
Looking at Theo's hand, I wonder if he decides to keep this 4-pin for long. If he doesn't, Guano would probably... No, now Theo won't drop this 4-pin.
But yeah, as you said, if he had dropped it, or if Guano draws it, then he has the ability to drop 2p for the sequence of 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
And then just nyag the rest away, because it's still great value. Crest started calling pretty early despite his hand not being in the fastest of shape. And Potato is still far away from achieving something. But he does have the starting bits for Sanchoku with 1 to 3.
Yeah, I guess he does want it, but he probably won't call if Guano drops any of the 3s. And
it's not really that high value to just have Sanchoku Nomi, so...
Yeah. And Guano's 10 pie. 5-pin, oh god, what an unfortunate... Yes, he felt the danger, and now he's waiting on just 2 remaining 6 souls. He would want to draw another 4 so to change his weight. Oh, and look at this. And he drops it.
Yeah, he would. So now it's Scythe 4 with Dealer on 4th place. So it's all up to him as to whether or not he can make a comeback.
And Cress, even though the hand was quite cheap, he got all the sticks on the table and got quite a lot of points from that. Nobody seems to have a really quick hand here, and I don't think Guano would just want to blindly call those nuns, considering that he needs a lot more points to have a shot at getting first.
Depends. I'm not entirely sure what his mindset is, so depending on whether or not he wants to secure second place or he does actually aim for first, his strategy will differ accordingly. And it's not really all about knowing what the situation is. Despite knowing that you need to aim for first place, while you're actually playing the game and you're in the heat of the moment, you might forget about that and just by instinct start going for second place acceptance.
Yeah, and he calls that nun.
Yep. Cress is at Yansanten for Sanshoku Doreichi. And he ignores it. So he's likely gonna stay Menzen until the end.
I guess that's a good idea here.
Yeah, it
And-
depends on whether or not you're planning to call. I mean, he does see from Potato's side that he's continuously dropping Jin Senpai, so there is a chance of the Sanshoku being completed.
And I wonder what's Guano planning to do from here.
If he does plan to win, I guess Hoinzu. Otherwise, just Nyang. Potatoes slowly walking to quite a good hand, at least Dora-wise. It's Akani Tanyo, but it makes more than enough of a starting hand, considering he is Stealer and he can make up the rest out of Rensang. So ideally, Potato wants to either complete his Kanchan of 35P or 57M. Cress has a tanky weight, and he chooses East, which is a hell weight.
What an unfortunate tile to draw here, but he drops it.
Bizarrely enough, he went really fast through that predicament without a second thought. I personally might have considered dropping 8M instead and keeping the shape of 3-3-4-4-5, but seemingly not. I'm not sure if he's folding or not. I mean, likely I would fold too. He's already in the first position and not really in a bad shape. Even if he has to pay Noten for all three people, he would still keep his first place.
It's enough of 5200 hit for Guano to overtake him. I guess from Cress's side, it does seem possible. Guano already has 2 Han, and he just needs like one more with 40 Fu for a Directron to be enough. And yes, I guess this was another thing that Guana might have hoped for, just waiting until Potato wins and like...
Ah, yeah, and then just refresh his hand, start a new high buy and then try again.
But then again, this brings the risk of like losing even the second. But Guano seems to have gotten a hand that has a much higher potential of overtaking Cress now.
Indeed, yeah. It could easily be a toy.
But then again, Potato also has a hand that will probably progress in a quick pace.
Yeah, it's being completed, especially with the draw he just did, with the 4M. It's slowly progressing steadily. And it keeps progressing on every single draw. First with 4M, then with 5S. A really good pace.
And Guano drops the Hatsu.
Yet Cress Sakigi reads the Scythe instead of Hatsu. No, Potato would likely look forward to dismantling his Spencer, as it's the last barrier towards Tanyo. And there he goes. So now this time it's the actual Harabote on Isante. But it sadly falls against him as he drew the 7M anyway, right after dropping the 9M. Now he can either keep that and... he didn't.
He drops it instead.
He could have kept it in the shape of 4, 5, 6, 7 and try aiming for a pair instead of Harabote.
And Guano reaches.
Yep. And thankfully that did work in his favor, as he managed to technically Sakigiri by one turn a dangerous tile. And now Potato has gone full Nyag, trying his best to catch up.
Theo, meanwhile, doesn't seem to be able to get a hand he wants in order to fight for a better place.
Cress also has an alright hand, but there's way too many pairs. So he's slowly dismantling them, starting with 1S and then West.
There's still 1, 7 and 4 in the wall for Guano to draw, if nobody wants to drop them.
And Potato managed to integrate all the dangerous tiles into his weight, and he is now waiting on 6M or 3M.
Yeah, pretty good actually.
Yeah, especially with his discards, since it makes it seem camouflaged-ish. And Guano drops it. Is this the comeback? The Southpaw last dealer comeback? Potato managed to get second place, and he now needs 9,000 points for first place.
Alright, we're seeing some spoilers in the IRC chat, but we need to finish the game here, so no spoilers here. And Theo's hand seems to be progressing quite well. Theo can still do it. Right, seeing the spoilers in chat kind of makes it harder to commentate properly on this, but let's just keep this pretend game going, I guess. Right, so Guano is Ishanten with a good-looking Pinfu.
Go Guano, you can do it! But yeah, indeed, his weight is really good. He has Akira on both the elements and an easy to make Pinfu.
Yeah, and Theo, meanwhile, is getting a hand that can help him. And Guano
it
reaches.
goes either ways for Hoitze, but it's still way too far. I hate it when it's like that. It's just segmented. Half of the hand is Banzin and half of the hand is Pinzu. And you kind of feel like, oh, I could go with Hoitze with this, but it's too far on both sides. A new alignment for Cress.
And Theo. Theo is standby and he declares Rishi.
And Guano managed to it.
Oh wait.
So likely the spoilers were for later on? No, there's no later on. Hmm?
I guess we're bamboozled by Guano.
Yeah, I thought that Guano... Huh, weird. Yeah, and even in the chat, there's talks about next steps. I guess they were for previous games.
Right. But still...
So we were
yeah.
bamboozled until the very end, indeed.
So I guess we might try inviting at least one of the winners for a post-game interview.
Yep, sure thing.
I'm going to post that in chat.
Overall, at the moment, I believe, I think all players have, actually aside from Theo, all players have managed to keep status quo. Potato had 1 first and 1 third, so he's overall positive, for this match at least. Cress had 1 first, and Guano ended up second with the last win, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So as long as since he didn't go first, then that should be overall positive for Cress as well, with 1 first and 1 fourth, but barely so. Then Guano has 1 third and 1 first, same as Potato, and then Theo has 1 second and 1 third.